The cold emptiness of space stretched out like an endless black canvas, punctuated by distant pinpricks of starlight. The small spacecraft drifted silently, its once gleaming hull now scared and dented, telling a story of desperate survival. Inside the vessel, the Roland family huddled together, their breath shallow and measured. Jax, the father, checked the ship's failing systems for what felt like the 100th time. His weathered hands moved across the control panel, each blinking light a countdown to their potential doom. Beside him, his partner Aria held their young child, Max, close to her chest. They were survivors, or at least they were trying to be. 3 standard months ago, their home system had been torn apart by a conflict that cared nothing for innocent lives. The war had consumed everything: their cities, their communities, their hope. When the first attacks began, Jax had managed to secure this small transport vessel, grabbing whatever supplies they could carry and fleeing into the vast, unforgiving darkness of space. The ship's life support systems were failing. Oxygen recyclers stuttered and clicked, producing less breathable air with each passing hour. The emergency power cells, once a beacon of hope, now flickered weakly, casting intermittent shadows across the cramped living quarters. "Dad," Max whispered, his large eyes reflecting a mixture of fear and curiosity. "Are we going to die?" Jax forced a smile that didn't reach his eyes. "No, son. We're going to survive. We always do." But even he didn't believe his own words. They had passed near dozens of spacefaring vessels over the past weeks. Some were massive commercial transport ships, others sleek military vessels. Each time, Jax had sent out desperate distress signals, pleading for assistance. Each time, the signals were met with silence. Some ships had actually responded, but not with help. Diplomatic messages explained complex political reasons why they couldn't intervene. The Galactic Council's non-interference protocols, potential diplomatic complications, economic considerations, cold, calculated reasons that meant nothing to a family fighting for survival. Aria's hand found Jax's, their fingers intertwining. A silent communication of love, of shared determination. They had survived wars, displacement, and countless challenges. They would not give up now. The ship's primary navigation system blinked its final warning. Fuel reserves, critical. Life support, marginal. Probability of survival, 3.2%. Max had fallen asleep, his small body nestled between his parents. He didn't understand the gravity of their situation, the razor's edge they balanced upon. To him, this was just another adventure, another moment of being held safe by those who loved him most. Jax looked at the star charts one more time. They were in a remote cluster, far from any major trade routes. The chances of rescue were microscopic. Every passing hour reduced their odds of survival. "We're not giving up," Jax muttered to himself, a mantra of resistance against the universe's indifference. Suddenly, a faint blip on the communication system. Another ship. Jax's heart raced. He had learned not to hope too much, but something felt different this time. The signal was unfamiliar, not like the bureaucratic, emotionless transmissions they'd received before. As the distant vessel's signature grew stronger on their damaged scanners, Jax held his breath. Their last chance, their final hope, was approaching through the infinite darkness of space. Little did they know, this was no ordinary rescue. This was a human vessel, and humanity was about to show the galaxy what true compassion looked like. The bridge of the SS Horizon hummed with quiet tension. Captain Mark Roberts stood at the center, his weathered hands clasped behind his back, staring intently at the holographic display showing the damaged alien vessel. "We can't just ignore them." Emma Wright, the ship's chief medical officer, argued. Her voice carried a mixture of professional concern and human compassion. Lieutenant David Chen, the navigation officer, responded differently. "Political protocols are clear. We risk diplomatic complications by intervening." The holographic display flickered, showing the critical state of the alien ship. Oxygen levels were dangerously low. Life support systems were failing. A family was literally moments away from extinction. Captain Roberts remained silent, weighing the consequences. Humans had always been different from other spacefaring civilizations. Where others saw potential diplomatic risks, humans saw suffering beings who needed help. "Scan the vessel completely," Roberts commanded. "I want to know exactly what we're dealing with." Advanced sensors probed the small spacecraft, revealing its occupants: 2 adult aliens and a child. Their biological readings were weak but stable. They were close to death, but not quite there yet. Emma approached the captain, her medical data pad displaying critical information. "They're from the Krull system, refugees from the recent interstellar conflict. Multiple species have passed them by, citing non-intervention policies." The bridge crew watched silently. Each member understood the weight of the moment. This wasn't just about a rescue mission. This was about demonstrating humanity's core values. Diplomatic risks. Roberts turned to face his team. "The only risk I see is doing nothing while a family dies." With a series of precise commands, Roberts initiated emergency rescue protocols. The massive human vessel began carefully maneuvering closer to the damaged alien ship. Max, the young alien child, was the first to notice the approach. His small hand pressed against the viewing port, eyes wide with a mixture of fear and wonder. His parents, Jax and Aria, held their breath. "Someone's coming," Max whispered. "Someone actually heard us." The human rescue team prepared with military precision and medical expertise. Specialized environmental suits were checked and rechecked. Medical equipment was prepared for potential alien physiology. "We don't know their exact biological composition," Emma briefed her medical team. "Approach with caution, but approach with care. Our priority is saving lives." As the SS Horizon's rescue shuttle detached and moved towards the damaged vessel, the alien family watched in disbelief. They had been passed by countless ships, ignored by entire civilizations. And now, unexpectedly, humans were coming. The shuttle's communication system crackled to life. A calm, professional voice spoke, not in bureaucratic language, but in a tone of genuine concern. "Damaged vessel, this is Human Rescue Shuttle Delta 7. We are initiating emergency extraction procedures. Remain calm. You are not alone." Jax clutched his partner's hand. Aria held their child close. Max continued staring, transfixed by the approaching human vessel. They had no way of knowing that this moment would change not just their lives, but potentially the entire understanding of interstellar relations. Humans were about to show the galaxy that compassion could be a form of strength. The rescue shuttle's lights illuminated the darkness of space, a beacon of hope for a family who had been left behind by everyone else. The medical bay of the SS Horizon was a marvel of human medical technology. Soft blue lights illuminated advanced equipment that hummed with precise efficiency. The alien family lay on specialized medical beds, each surface adapting to their unique biological needs. Emma Wright worked methodically, her hands moving with practiced skill. Holographic displays surrounded each bed, tracking every minute detail of the alien's health. The medical team wore adaptive environment suits, ensuring no cross-contamination while maintaining a careful, gentle approach. Jax was the first to fully regain consciousness. His eyes, large and slightly iridescent, scanned the unfamiliar environment. Everything looked different from anything he had ever seen, clean, organized, with an almost deliberate sense of care. "You're safe," Emma said softly, speaking through a universal translator. "We're treating your family's medical conditions." The medical scans revealed the extent of their suffering: malnutrition, radiation exposure, chronic stress. Years of running and hiding had taken a tremendous toll on the small family. Max, the young child, was particularly fascinating to the medical team. His body showed remarkable resilience. Despite weeks of harsh conditions, he had survived, a testament to his parents' care and his own inner strength. "Your son is remarkable," Emma explained to Aria, who was just beginning to wake up. His adaptive systems are extraordinary. He's been fighting to survive against incredible odds. The medical bay was more than just a place of healing. It was a sanctuary of hope. Captain Roberts visited personally, understanding the psychological impact of their rescue. He knew this wasn't just a medical mission. This was about showing compassion, about demonstrating that not all species in the universe would abandon those in need. "We're going to help you," Roberts told the family. His voice was calm, reassuring. "You're safe now." The human medical technology was nothing short of miraculous. Specialized nanobots began repairing cellular damage. Nutritional supplements were carefully calibrated to the family's specific biological requirements. Each treatment was personalized, showing an incredible level of medical sophistication. Max was particularly curious. Despite his weakened state, his eyes darted around the medical bay, taking in every detail. Human medical staff found themselves charmed by his endless questions. "Why are you helping us?" Max asked Emma. "Other ships just passed us by." Emma smiled, a gesture that transcended species. "Because it's the right thing to do," she explained simply. The medical team worked in shifts, ensuring constant care. They shared stories among themselves, how this rescue represented something more than just a standard mission. This was about proving humanity's core values. Jack slowly regained his strength. His body, once beaten and broken, began to heal. The medical scanners showed remarkable improvement. Muscles rebuilt, cellular damage repaired, hope restored. Lieutenant Chen developed a special translation program to help communicate with the family. It wasn't just about converting words. It was about understanding context, emotion, the subtle nuances of communication. "We want to know your story," Roberts told the family during a gentle interview. "We want to understand how you survived, what happened to your people." The rescue was becoming something more than a simple medical mission. It was the beginning of understanding, of connection between two different species. As days passed, the alien family's health improved dramatically. Their bodies healed. Their spirits recovered. And something else began to grow, a profound respect for the humans who had saved them when no one else would. Max would later tell stories about this moment, about the day humans showed the galaxy what true compassion looked like, about the day everything changed. The SS Horizon continued its journey through space, carrying with it not just a rescued family, but a powerful message of hope and humanity. The small conference room aboard the SS Horizon became a place of unexpected connection. Captain Roberts sat across from Jax and Aria, with Emma Wright acting as a cultural translator. Max played quietly in the corner, building intricate structures with advanced holographic blocks provided by the ship's Children's Learning Center. "Tell us about your home," Roberts encouraged gently. His approach was soft, respectful, a marked difference from the clinical interactions the alien family had experienced with other species. Jax's story unfolded like a painful tapestry of survival. The Krell system, once a thriving multi-species community, had been torn apart by a complex conflict. Political tensions, resource disputes, and centuries of unresolved cultural differences had erupted into a devastating war. "We were diplomats," Aria explained, her translucent fingers intertwining with Jack's. "Our work was to prevent exactly what happened. But some conflicts are too deep, too complex to resolve peacefully." The humans listened intently. This wasn't just a story of survival. It was a narrative of systemic failure. Other spacefaring civilizations had watched the conflict unfold, more interested in maintaining political neutrality than saving innocent lives. Emma studied the family's body language, fascinated by the subtle ways they communicated. The slight tilt of a head, the way their skin shifted color almost imperceptibly when discussing painful memories. Scientific curiosity merged with genuine empathy. Max looked up from his holographic construction. "We lost everything," he said simply. The weight of his words hung in the air, a child who had witnessed too much, too soon. Lieutenant Chen brought up holographic star charts, helping the family trace their journey. Each jump, Each narrow escape was marked. The path was a testament to their incredible resilience. Most ships saw our distress signals as a political risk, Jax explained. Helping us could mean getting involved in a complex interstellar conflict. It was easier to ignore us. Captain Roberts leaned forward. Humanity doesn't work that way, he said firmly. We believe that every life has value, regardless of species, regardless of political complications. The conversation revealed layers of complexity. The alien family wasn't just survivors. They were intellectuals, diplomats who had dedicated their lives to preventing the very conflict that destroyed their home. Max's holographic creation took shape, an intricate model of what seemed to be their lost home world. Detailed, precise, a memorial built by a child who remembered. We will help you find a new home, Roberts promised. It wasn't just an empty statement. The humans were already working on diplomatic channels, exploring resettlement options. Emma shared details about human refugee integration programs, how Earth had historically welcomed displaced populations, how diversity was seen as a strength, not a challenge. The ship's cultural databases were open to the family. Language learning programs, historical archives, educational resources, everything was freely shared, without condition. Why are you doing this? Arya asked, her voice a mixture of hope and disbelief. Why us? Roberts smiled. Because it's who we are, he explained. Humanity's greatest strength is our ability to see beyond our own immediate interests, to help, to care. Max approached the adults, his holographic model floating beside him. Can we stay with the humans? He asked innocently. The question was simple. The implications were profound. The conversation continued late into the ship's stimulated evening. Star charts, personal histories, shared hopes, two species finding connection in the vast, often indifferent universe. Outside the conference room's window, stars continued their endless dance. The SS Horizon moved forward, carrying not just a rescued family, but a potential bridge between civilizations. Max watched the stars, his small hand pressed against the viewing port. A journey of survival had become something more. A journey of understanding. The Galactic Council chamber was a massive circular room designed to showcase diplomatic grandeur. Holographic displays flickered with complex data streams. Representatives from dozens of spacefaring civilizations sat in tiered seating, their expressions a mixture of curiosity and diplomatic tension. Captain Mark Roberts stood at the center, calm and composed. Behind him sat Jax and Arya, with Max quietly observing the proceedings. The human delegation had turned what could have been a routine diplomatic hearing into something extraordinary. The rescue of the Krell diplomatic family is a direct violation of non-intervention protocols, argued the Zenthuri representative, his multifaceted eyes glowing with bureaucratic intensity. Humanitarian concerns cannot supersede established interstellar law. Roberts responded without hesitation. Interstellar law that allows the extinction of an entire family is not law. It's organized indifference. The chamber fell silent. Emma Wright presented the medical data. Holographic projections showed the family's condition when discovered, near death, abandoned, with multiple species having passed them by. Each scan told a story of survival against impossible odds. Lieutenant Chen compiled diplomatic records. Each slide demonstrated how other civilizations had systematically ignored the Krell system's humanitarian crisis. Cold reports, political calculations, economic considerations that reduced lives to statistical probabilities. We are not just defending one family, Roberts explained. We are challenging a system that values political convenience over living beings. Max, though young, became an unexpected weapon in their diplomatic arsenal. When asked to speak, he simply described their journey. The fear, the hope, the moments when death seemed certain. His innocence cut through diplomatic rhetoric like a laser. Why did no one help us? Max asked the council. The question was simple. The implications were devastating. The Galactic Council chamber became uncomfortable. Representatives shifted in their seats, Some looked away. Others met Max's gaze, unable to formulate a response. Jax and Aria provided critical testimony. As former diplomats, they presented a devastating critique of the current interstellar political system. Their professional background gave weight to their personal tragedy. Our work was to prevent conflict, Jax told the council. But the very institutions designed to maintain peace became instruments of abandonment. The human delegation had prepared meticulously. They didn't just bring an emotional appeal. They brought data, precedents, legal arguments that systematically dismantled the council's traditional non-intervention stance. Emma's medical report became a powerful tool. It demonstrated not just the physical healing of the family, but the psychological impact of compassionate intervention. Graphs showed recovery rates, stress reduction metrics, potential long-term societal benefits of humanitarian action. Lieutenant Chen's diplomatic analysis was equally compelling. He presented case studies of human intervention throughout history, moments when choosing compassion created more stable, peaceful outcomes than rigid non-involvement. The Zenthari representative attempted multiple counterarguments: political risks, potential destabilization, economic complications. Each argument was methodically, respectfully dismantled by the human team. Humanity proposes a new protocol, Roberts declared, one that recognizes life as the primary consideration in any diplomatic equation. Max watched the proceedings with curious eyes. Too young to fully understand the complexities, but old enough to sense the significance of the moment. The Galactic Council's decision would not be immediate. Bureaucracies move slowly, even when confronted with overwhelming moral clarity. But something had changed. A crack had appeared in the system of organized indifference. As the hearing concluded, Jax squeezed Aria's hand. Max looked up at the human captain who had saved them. And in that moment, a new possibility emerged. A universe where compassion could be a form of strength. The SS Horizon had done more than rescue a family. It had challenged an entire system of thinking. The human colony world of New Hope stretched out like a vibrant tapestry of possibility. Rolling green landscapes mixed with advanced architectural designs, creating a harmony between technology and nature. This was to be the new home for the Krell family, a sanctuary of rebuilding and hope. Max ran through an open field, his laughter echoing across the landscape. The colony's children's center had become his second home. Here, species from across the galaxy learned together, played together, grew together. Jax and Aria watched from a nearby observation deck. Their bodies, once broken and defeated, now showed signs of renewed strength. The human integration program was nothing like they had expected. "Look at him," Aria whispered to Jax. "He's healing." The colony's administration had done more than just provide shelter. They had created a comprehensive support system. Language programs, cultural integration workshops, professional retraining for displaced professionals. Every detail was carefully considered. Emma Wright, who had become a close family friend, explained the philosophy behind their approach. "We don't just give refuge," she said. "We provide opportunity." Jax was already working with the colony's diplomatic corps. His previous experience, combined with a fresh perspective, made him valuable. Aria had begun teaching at the Multicultural Education Center, sharing knowledge about conflict resolution. The colony was a deliberate experiment in interspecies cooperation. Humans had designed it as more than just a settlement. It was a living demonstration of what true integration could look like. Max's school was a marvel of inclusive design. Children from different species learned together, their learning tools adapted to accommodate various biological and cognitive differences. Translation systems worked seamlessly, ensuring no child felt left out. "Tell me about your home," a young human classmate asked Max during a learning session. Instead of pain, Max now spoke with hope. He was becoming an ambassador of his lost culture, not just a victim of its destruction. The colony's medical facilities continued to support the family. Regular checkups, psychological support, adaptive technologies that addressed their specific biological needs. Nothing was an afterthought. Lieutenant Chen visited occasionally, bringing updates from the Galactic Council. The hearing had created ripples. Other civilizations were beginning to question their non-intervention policies. Small changes were happening. Direct results of the SS Horizon's intervention. "We're not just saving a family," Captain Roberts had often said. "We're showing a different way of existing in the universe." Max joined a multicultural youth program. He learned about different species' cultures, histories, and perspectives. His childhood wasn't defined by loss anymore. It was defined by possibility. The colony had special programs for refugee children, counseling, creative expression workshops, spaces to process trauma while building future dreams. Max found healing through art, creating intricate holographic representations of his memories. Jax and Aria participated in regular community dialogues. They shared their experiences, not as victims, but as bridge builders. Their story became a powerful narrative of survival and hope. The humans didn't just provide a physical home. They provided a philosophical home, a place where difference was celebrated, where compassion was seen as a strength. During community festivals, Max would proudly wear traditional clothing from his lost homeworld. But now, it wasn't a symbol of loss. It was a celebration of survival, of continuity. As the colony's sun set, casting golden light across the landscape, Jax looked at his family. They had been rescued. They had been given more than survival. They had been given a future. Max ran back, his eyes bright with excitement. "Dad, can we invite Emma for dinner?" he asked. Jax smiled. This was home now, a home they never expected, a home that chose compassion over convenience. The stars outside seemed to shine a little brighter. 10 years had passed since the SS Horizon's unexpected rescue. The story of the Krell family had become more than a personal journey. It had become a turning point in interstellar relations. Max stood at the Galactic Diplomatic Academy, now a respected young diplomat in his own right. His presentation would challenge decades of established interstellar policies. Behind him, holographic displays showed the journey of his family, from abandoned refugees to ambassadors of hope. Compassion is not weakness, Max told the assembled representatives from dozens of civilizations. It is the most advanced form of strategic thinking. The Academy Hall was filled with diplomats, scholars, and political leaders. Many remembered the controversial rescue that had shaken the foundations of galactic diplomatic protocols. Max's parents, Jax and Aria, sat in the front row, their eyes filled with pride. Emma Wright, now a senior diplomatic advisor, had helped prepare Max for this moment. She watched from the side, a quiet guardian of a story that had changed everything. Max's presentation was meticulously detailed. He presented statistical evidence showing how humanitarian interventions created more stable long-term outcomes than non-intervention policies. Each slide told a story of lives saved, conflicts prevented, potential realized. The human approach had slowly but fundamentally transformed interstellar relations. Where once civilizations saw each other as potential threats, they were now learning to see each other as potential partners. Captain Roberts, now a senior admiral, sat among the distinguished guests. The rescue that had once seemed like a single act of compassion had become a blueprint for a new way of thinking about interstellar relations. Our rescue was never about a single family, Max explained. It was about challenging a system that had forgotten the value of individual lives. Holographic displays showed the transformation of the New Hope colony, now a thriving multicultural hub that demonstrated what true integration could look like. Species that had once avoided each other now worked, learned, and lived together. Jax and Aria exchanged a knowing look. Their personal tragedy had become a catalyst for systemic change. The diplomatic skills they had once used to prevent conflict now helped build understanding between species. The Galactic Council, once resistant to change, had slowly evolved. New protocols emerged that prioritized humanitarian concerns. The rigid bureaucracy that had once allowed families like Max to be abandoned was slowly being dismantled. Max shared personal stories alongside hard data. The moment of their rescue, the challenges of integration, the hope that emerged from compassion. Each narrative was a powerful argument against cold, calculated non-involvement. Emma Wright stepped forward, adding context to Max's presentation. Her medical research showed the long-term benefits of humanitarian intervention, not just for individuals, but for entire civilizations. The room was silent. Representatives from species that had once ignored distress signals now listened carefully. The human approach, combining compassion with strategic thinking, was proving to be more effective than traditional diplomatic methods. "We are not just saving lives," Max concluded. "We are expanding the definition of what's possible in our universe." As the presentation ended, the hall erupted in discussion. Some were convinced, some were challenged, but no one could ignore the evidence. Outside the academy, the landscape of new hope stretched out, a living testament to what could happen when compassion became a guiding principle. Max looked at his parents. They had survived being abandoned. They had transformed that pain into a powerful message of hope. Captain Roberts approached, placing a hand on Max's shoulder. "You're continuing the mission," he said quietly. The stars outside seemed to shine with renewed possibility. A universe that had once seemed cold and indifferent was learning to see differently. One rescue, one family, one moment of choice had changed everything.